Hello everyone, welcome to the Corner Library from quite a distance away. I thought that I would sit at the table today and present a few things to you just as a different visual for you. It also allows a little bit of light, a natural light, to come in on the subject as well. So I hope you're all well this week. I'll just get myself comfortable here. I hope you're all well and that you've had a wonderful week, whether that be reading or going out on walks or adventures. We've had a bit of an adventurous week. When I say adventurous, it has been a busy week. I had a haircut, I had my hair trimmed. Mark also had a haircut, and we have been busy doing things outside whilst we have been able to weather-wise. Today is cloudy and it has been tinkling a little bit this morning. So, and during the week it was a little bit sunny, but it really has been odd spring weather, everyone. It really doesn't know what it's doing. And it has created a little bit of chaos here at home because if you go out to do something like mow the lawn, we have to wait until the grass is a little bit dry before we mow it. And then by that time, it's almost ready to tinkle down or perhaps, we're busy with something else. So the other thing that we've had this week, I'll just explain to you in case something happens whilst I'm filming, because as you know, I like to do these in one take, but it's a bit of a long story, everyone. It has been happening for quite a few years, but I have had a bit of a problem with my eye. And so this week we've been investigating. I've been to the dentist because I thought that it may be a tooth that I'm having a problem, that I may have been having a problem with, and that it was affecting the nerves in my eye. The dentist tells me that is not the case, but I have to be honest, I'm not quite convinced about that. And so I've had to book an optometrist appointment for this coming week, and also the doctor. It's actually created quite a bit of numbness in my cheek and also around my head, so the top of my head. So I don't want to mess around with it any longer, even though it has been happening on and off actually for probably the last 16 years. But it hasn't been quite this bad. So I am having that investigated. So I've had to get on the phone and book appointments and discuss things with various specialists and so forth. And so it's been a bit of a busy week. But anyway, hopefully that will be resolved this coming week. And strange enough, it may have something to do with over the past few episodes, or maybe the last 6 months or so, I don't know if you remember or if you've been watching in that time, but I felt as though I've had hair across my face, and I keep apologizing and feel as though I have to pull it off my face. But we actually now think it's the nerves in the face that have been making me feel that way, which is really odd. But anyway, enough explaining about that. I'm sure it will all be resolved in the next week or so. Let's get on to what I have for you. I have something to show you today, but that's toward the end of our reviews and recommendations today. Let's get into it, everyone. I will let you know we are on the microphone on the camera. I went to investigate a lapel microphone, which I really do want and need, but they are extremely expensive. So I've decided that I will wait. It's not important at this stage. And so we just have the microphone, it's sitting below the camera. The microphone that I've had attached to the camera, it was purchased separately from the camera. It's not behaving itself. And I think over a couple of episodes, you've heard some scratchiness in the audio. So I've taken that off. I was going to put it on the camera and test it today, but I'm just not convinced in its reliability. So I've just popped it on the table in front of the camera, and we are just using the camera microphone. So apologies if you cannot hear me clearly or if it's a little strange in the video, because we are quite a distance away as well. But I will try and remedy that in the editing process. So apologies, everyone. Okay, let's get into these books. That's what this is all about. More exciting. Sorry, everyone. That's the other thing I'm doing. I'm going to the optometrist this week to check the health of the eye, which I have done in the past, and apparently it's all healthy, but I want to check it again. And of course, we'll have to check for vision. Anyway, the first one I want to show you today is The Excitements by C.J. Ray. This was 2024, this one, or actually the paperback was 2025, but it's published by Orion Fiction. It's an Atchett UK company. Now, C.J. Ray is the pseudonym for Chris Manby. She is a prolific writer, but this is the first in this series of C.J. Ray's. Now, this is, you know I don't like telling you the full story, but this is, it starts in sort of basically present day, 2022, and it goes back in time during the war. We have Josephine and Penny, who are now, in 2022, they are elderly, they're in their 90s, and they're quite the detectives. But there is far more to them. And they go to Paris with I think it's their great nephew. They go to Paris to receive an honour from the Parisian government and for their efforts during the war and so forth. But the great nephew learns a lot more about them. There's a lot more to these two elderly ladies than what the great nephew has been told and what we are told originally. This is really good. It's fun, it's exciting, it's fast-paced, it's unusual to have two wonderful protagonists who are so elderly. They're in their 90s when the story begins, and of course we go back in time to during the war, in the Second World War. This is, look, I really love the characters in this as well. And there is a second one in the series. It's this year, so it's only, I think it has already been released this year. What is it called? This is The Excitements, and there's another one. Oh gosh, everyone! I'll when I remember, or if I have to research it, I'll put it in the subtitles below. But there is another one out, and I can't wait to read it. This is such a good, comfy, cozy, fast-paced, great characters, really interesting and unusual in its plot and in the people and the storyline. Look, it's wonderful, and I recommend it. So C.J. Ray, The Excitements. She is a well-known author. I think she's written some 20 or 30 novels, but this is the first in this series. I recommend it. It's fantastic. So that's that one. Now, the next one we have is Anne Glenconnor. Anne was, she was one of the ladies in waiting at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, but she then became a lady in waiting proper for Princess Margaret. She's had quite an interesting life and marriage, to say the least. She was interviewed on the Graham Norton show, which is he's an Irish comedian, writer, and television host. I think his talk show has been going for many, many years in England. But she was interviewed by Graham Norton, and she, in the recounting of her life, she raised a few eyebrows. She's had a very interesting, colourful life. Now, Anne has written a few novels, but this one I presented on Australian Book Travels when we first started the channels, probably well over a year ago. This is A Haunting in Holcombe. Oh, I beg your pardon, everyone. I've just moved the table and it's on wheels, so it's squeaked. Sorry. Beautiful cover. Really love the cover. The gold inlay shimmers and shines. Now, this is, I think this was 2021. Yeah, I'm right. It was 2021, and it was first published in Great Britain in 2021 by Hodder and Stoughton, which is an Atchett UK company. We are approximately 340 pages, and we begin in 1950, but it does go back through the Second World War. Anne wrote, it's not her first novel, but she did write Murder on Mystique, which Mystique was the island that actually that Princess Margaret owned a home on. I think she actually owned the island, if I'm correct, but I could be wrong on that. But I know she owned a home on the island of Mystique. Now, this one is lots of mystery, great characters, secrets, of course, as part of that mystery. I recommend this. I think it's really good fun and really interesting. I think Anne she's now, I think, in her late 80s or early 90s. And, of course, this, what did I say, 2021. So she was well into her 80s then when she wrote this. I recommend it. It's a really good read. As I say, I bought it, I think, last year, and I presented it on the channel, but I hadn't read it at that stage. I have now, and it's great. I recommend it if you are into dual timelines, mystery, intrigue, great characters, and of course the author has she has had a colourful life herself, which makes it just more interesting, I think. Okay, one I do want to present to you. I did present this on the channel quite some time ago on Australian Book Travels. It must have been well over a year ago, maybe a little bit more. This is Melissa Harrison's All Among the Barley. This is a fiction, actually I must tell you that's fiction too, and of course that's fiction, they're fiction. This is fictional, but it is a coming of age in England. I think it's from memory after the Second World War. Let me just check that. I don't want to give you the wrong information. I'm sure it was, or was it perhaps between the wars? I think it's between the wars. Yes, it is. Between the wars in 1933. It's a really interesting coming of age in rural England, and the rise or the want of fascism to rise in England and the subsequent quelling of that. This was really, really good. It is on par with Laurie Lee's true childhood memoir, Cider with Rosie. I read it around about the same time, and I put it on par with that, as well as Ben Ma's, what's the other one? What's the one I'm thinking of, everyone? The one I presented it to you a couple of weeks ago. Again, I'll put it in the subtitles below if it doesn't come to me beforehand, but it's on par with that. The writing is beautiful. It's realistic. And of course we have in this coming of age and the beauty of nature and the evolution of one's growing up, one's coming of age in amongst nature and the symbolism in that. And amongst all of that, then this rise, which was, as I say, subsequently quelled, of course, but this potential rise of fascism in England at the time. I really do recommend this. It is an exquisite read, a truly exquisite read. This is Melissa Harrison's All Among the Barley. Now, this was, everyone, this was first written, let me just check, in 2018. It was first published in Great Britain by Bloomsbury Publishing, and it is approximately 330 pages, something like that. Really, really worth the read. It is beautiful. It's comfy, cozy, but it's also very telling. It really does expose the political side of England at the time and the desperation of people in the country, which is still relevant today. I recommend it. It's absolutely brilliant. I loved it. And it is one of the novels that, as we've discussed in the past, it's one of those novels that has made a big impact, not only on my reading, but on me as a person. It's definitely one of those classic, just exquisitely written books, and I recommend it. Okay, as you all know, I do love my cooking and my baking. I recommend Ruth Reichel's My Kitchen Year. This is, I have had this for quite a few years, or a couple of years at least. When was it? When was it first published, everyone? Let me just check. Where are we? Oh gosh, it's not going to tell me, is it? It's not going to be that easy, everyone. Murdoch Books in Australia, published in 2016. I wouldn't have had it that long, but I certainly have had it for quite a few years. This is brilliant. It has wonderful recipes, absolutely stunning photos. I don't know if you can see, there's some black and whites and there's colour photos. Brilliant, easy recipes with beautiful outcomes. Tasty, easy, and yeah, look, really well worth having on your kitchen shelf. I recommend it. It's absolutely a brilliant book, and she has written a few others before. I'm just reading on the back here, actually. I didn't realize this, but she was the editor-in-chief of Gourmet magazine for 10 years. She now lives in New York with her husband. But I recommend this one. It really does have some beautiful, not only beautiful photos, but it does have some amazing recipes. And she has some little anecdotes of why she makes what she does and where she's obtained them from, or how she's developed the recipes. I recommend that. In the same theme of cooking, we have Australian Annie Smithers. Now, I presented this one on Australian Book Travels last year. This is Kitchen Sentimental. It's a memoir of how Australian chef Annie Smithers came about cooking and the love of food. She does still have a restaurant in Trentham here in Victoria. I'm sure she still has it. I will double check that for you, but it's exquisite. She's one of the chefs that believes in growing her own food. She has a farm out in I think it's near Dalesford. She has the restaurant in Trentham, and I think the farm is either in Trentham or Dalesford. I can't remember, but she believes in growing and then plating up the same food at the restaurant, so it goes from farm to plate. This is beautiful. It's a really lovely memoir, but that's not well, of course, I want to present this one to you. This, by the way, I'll just give you the lowdown, everyone. It's 2024, first published in Australia by Thames and Hudson, and is with index and acknowledgements and things and gratitude she gives there. It's around about 230 pages. But that's not what I really wanted to show you. Now, this one has been well worn, so I do apologise. It looks a little bit tatty. This is Annie Smithers. I think this was her first cookbook, or certainly the first one that I am aware of. I do have a couple of hers along the way. Hang on, let's have a look, everyone. This was published by Penguin Group in 2012, and I'm fairly sure it was her first one. It's certainly the first one that I bought and that I'm aware of. It has absolutely beautiful photos and exquisite recipes, easy but palatable and beautifully presented. Some really lovely recipes. I recommend this. It is still available. It does have meat recipes in it, and as you know, I am vegetarian. I'm a very strict vegetarian, but I just adapt. I adapt all of my recipes to work for me, and Mark he's a pescatarian. He does eat fish, so I just adapt a lot of the recipes. Now, in this one too, Annie does give you throughout the book, the cookbook, she gives you information on the time of the year that they harvest and, you know, when they use the ingredients and what for. So I recommend this one. As I say, I do believe it is the first. I could be wrong, but I'll check myself and correct myself if it's not. But I'm fairly sure this was the first in a couple of books that she has since written and presented. And this is a garden diary featuring 100 seasonal recipes. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautifully presented, hardcover with a linen. That's why it's a little bit well worn, because I'm constantly using it. It's beautiful. I recommend it. Now, I've just put my cup of tea over here. Something I do want to show you, because I'm very excited about this, and I think it's just beautiful. Quite a couple of months ago now, in celebration of Jane Austen's 250th anniversary of her birth, Mark bought me the Lego box and obviously the Lego bricks to make the Jane Austen Lego presentation. And this now sits behind a glass cabinet because it can get a bit dusty. I absolutely loved it, and I put it together in an afternoon. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, and I was really chuffed. Mark loves Lego. He absolutely is a bit of a fanatic, and so the two passions of ours, mine being books and Jane Austen, and Mark's being Lego, it was really quite a poignant present that he gave me. Now, last week, I think it was, I presented this one to you. This is Sherlock Holmes. It's a book nook. I can't wait to get into it and spend the time to make it and then show it to you on the channel, which I hope to do soon. But as you can see, I haven't done it yet. However, over the last few days, Mark, what we find with this, before I tell you anything else, what we find, which I didn't realise, as well as reading and finding reading really relaxing, I really found making this relaxing. And now I understand why Mark has that passion, because he works hard. We both work hard. Mark works full time now. I have long since retired, but Mark works full time. We both work out on the property that has been, that's a really physically demanding job for us. And so it is nice to have, the ability to read, to sit down and read and relax, or Mark puts together the Lego. Now, one thing that he does do, when he buys certain Lego pieces, he always consults me and he says, what do you think to this? Do you think we would like this? Or do you think we would like to do it together? And of course, both of us love history, and particularly I love history, and Mark and I really do love architecture. We love the beautiful historical architecture within various towns, and that's one of the reasons why I became so involved in with Australian book travels, traveling from town to town to show you all the architecture and the history. And we do that whenever we travel overseas. So a long time ago, Mark bought this one, and I wanted to show you. I will show you as it is now. I can't pick it up because it is too heavy, and I may actually smash it if I don't hold it correctly. So what I'll do, once I've presented this to you and I say cheerio, I will film it close up, because you really have to see this, everyone, to believe it. It is absolutely stunning. So let me just present it to you. This is called the Lego Boutique Hotel, and the shape of it alone is just absolutely stunning. Let me see if I can get it into a better shot here. I hope, maybe I can. Oh, what if I lift it and then I smash it? Mark will not be happy. Hang on. Uh-oh, everyone. I've already taken the fire hydrant off. Sorry. Okay, Mark's not here, so he won't see, and you won't tell him anyway, I'm hoping. Let me see here. I will film it because I'll film it closer for you. Uh-oh. See, I have to be really careful, everyone. But, oh no, I've taken the lamppost off. But what I have to show you is these bits, these stories come off. And inside, that roof actually comes off too with the skylights. Inside, it shows you the rooms. There's beds and there's stairs, there's wardrobes and typewriters and lamps. And then, oh no, everyone, I really am breaking. Oh dear. I think I best behave myself and just not touch it. Oh dear. Oh gosh, maybe I should put my glasses on so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, that's okay. What also happens here, we take off this one and it has a king-size bed, and it has a bath, an Art Deco bathroom, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I will film it for you on the inside, but I wanted to show you because they are beautiful. Lego is a really lovely product. To be honest, I was never fussed. I thought it was a children's product. And, you know, I wouldn't go out and buy it purely for myself. I love the fact that Mark has bought me book-specific Lego so that I can enjoy it. But this is really Mark's passion. And he, you know, it's something for him to really de-stress and find an outlet for all of the hard work that he does both at work and at home. But it's beautifully presented too. I mean, we have here a lady with her parasol and her luggage, a gentleman with a bowler hat. I mean, it's just really, it's exquisite. And even the windows you can see, but I will film it close for you. So at the end of this, you can have a look at it a little bit better. Now, I'm nearing the end of this, everyone. What I do want to remind you of before I go, do not forget you only have 1 week left to enter the book competition. The questions and all the details are on last week's episode titled This Is It. So when you flick through the channel, have a look for the video titled This Is It, and that will give you all of the questions, and you will have to then, those questions, then you need to go back through the channel, the Corner Library channel, in order to get the answers for those questions. And the end of that episode from last week, it will also give you the details on how to enter and how you need to enter and what is required. So I'm not repeating them here on this episode, but do go back to This Is It, which was shown last week, which was, what day was that, everyone? Was it the 15th? I think it was the 15th of September. And of course, I'm uploading this for you, or I'm filming it for you Sunday. Today is Sunday, but of course you will see it, or it will be uploaded for Monday, which is tomorrow. And what is that? I think I'm really not sure, everyone. I don't know what date it is. I think it's the 21st, and the competition finishes next Monday, which is the 29th. So that would be right, wouldn't it? Sunday's the 21st, the 22nd, and then Monday's the 29th. So it must be the 21st today. And for you watching this on a Monday, of course, it's the 22nd. But I will change that or clarify it in the subtitles below if I'm wrong. So yes, do watch until the end if you're interested in having a look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. I was really shocked when Mark, he called me into his office, his study last night, and he said, come and have a look at the boutique hotel. And it really is something to admire. So well done, Lego. We do have a few other similar ones, a Parisian apartment building, which I can show you. Mark has that packed away in a box. But they're exquisite. The detail in them, even the detail in the finials and things, I mean, they're just beautiful. So yeah, I admire them. As I say, I'm not a collector myself as such, apart from my book themed Lego, but these really are exquisite. Anyway, I thought I would show you that as something a little different and to show you the detail that's involved. And I'm hoping this one, the Sherlock Holmes one, I believe it will. It'll be just as beautiful, but it will be bigger too than the Jane Austen. This is likely to be perhaps not as big as that, but certainly bigger than the Jane Austen. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, everyone, that is it. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. Now, what I will also do, the book competition closes on Monday, next Monday, the 29th of September. I will add that week, I will add I will film and upload an extra video for you to present the winners, or to acknowledge the winners of the book competition in the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. So there will be an extra video, but it will be just to let you know who the winners are of the book competition. Okay, everyone, I hope I haven't knocked the camera too much here. I can see it sort of moving a little bit. I do apologise. I think the table is knocking the camera. I have the camera right up against the table, so I think I've knocked it. So I apologise. But that is it. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I hope you enjoy all of these. Brilliant cookbook, great memoir of Annie Smithers, Ruth Reichel, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is also a great cookbook. Melissa Harrison's All Among the Barley, absolutely recommended. It is a classic and should be read. Absolutely beautiful. And Glenn Connor's Murder Mystery, absolutely brilliant. And the newish series of CJ Ray's The Excitements, absolutely brilliant. And there is the other one coming out, which I'll let you know in either the subtitles or at the end of the video. So I recommend them, everyone. They're fantastic. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.